The voice that crossed oceans. The backstage area of Ireland's Got Talent hummed with nervous energy. Contestants paced back and forth, some practicing their routines one last time, others sitting quietly with their eyes closed, trying to calm their racing hearts. The air smelled of hairspray and coffee, mixed with the faint scent of stage dust that seemed to live in every theater. In a corner near the water cooler, a small figure sat alone on a folding chair. His name was Miguel Santos, and he was 12 years old. He wore a simple white button-down shirt that his mother had ironed 3 times that morning, and black pants that were slightly too long, brushing against his worn sneakers. His dark hair was combed neatly to the side, and his brown eyes stared down at his hands, which wouldn't stop shaking. Miguel had traveled a long way to be here. From a tiny village in the Philippines, across the ocean to Ireland, carried by his grandmother's lifetime of savings and a dream that seemed too big for someone so small. His grandmother, Lola Rosa, sat in the audience now, clutching her worn leather purse in her lap, whispering prayers in Tagalog under her breath. A production assistant with a clipboard approached Miguel. Her smile was kind but hurried. "You're up in 5 minutes, love," she said, her Irish accent soft and musical. "Are you ready?" Miguel nodded, though he wasn't sure if that was true. His throat felt dry, and the song he had practiced 1,000 times suddenly seemed to slip away from his memory like water through his fingers. The assistant walked away, and Miguel closed his eyes. He thought about home. Not the beautiful parts that tourists might see, but the real home he knew. The corrugated metal roof that leaked when the rain came hard. The single light bulb that hung in the middle of their small room. His mother's hands, rough and cracked from washing other people's clothes in the river. His father's back, bent from years of working in the fields under the burning sun. Music had been Miguel's escape from the heaviness of poverty. When he sang, the walls of their small house seemed to expand. The worries that pressed down on his parents' shoulders seemed to lift, just for a moment. His voice was a gift he didn't ask for, but one his family cherished like treasure. 3 years ago, his father had found an old phone at the market. It was cracked and slow, but it could play videos. Miguel discovered Elvis Presley on that phone. He didn't understand all the English words at first, but he understood the feeling. The way Elvis poured his soul into every note. The way he could make you feel like he was singing just for you, even through a tiny, broken speaker. Miguel practiced Elvis songs in the field while helping his father. He sang them while walking to school. He performed them at the local church, standing on the altar after Sunday Mass, his voice echoing off the concrete walls. People in his village would stop their work to listen. They would close their eyes and smile, forgetting their troubles for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. When the opportunity came to audition for Ireland's Got Talent during their international audition tour, it seemed impossible. The trip alone would cost more money than his family earned in 6 months. But Lola Rosa, his grandmother, had a secret. For 40 years, she had been saving money in a tin box buried under the mango tree in her backyard. Coins and small bills, hidden away from life's endless emergencies. She dug up that box and gave it all to Miguel. "This is for your voice," she said, pressing the money into his small hands. "Your voice can change everything. Not just for you, but for all of us." The journey had been long. 2 buses, 3 planes, and more airports than Miguel could count. Ireland was cold in a way he had never experienced. The sky was gray and close, not white and blue like home. Everything smelled different. Everything felt different. But Lola Rosa held his hand through it all, her weathered fingers wrapped around his, steady and warm. 2 minutes, the production assistant called out, startling Miguel from his memories. He stood up on shaky legs. His heart was pounding so hard he could hear it in his ears. What if he forgot the words? What if his voice cracked? What if he disappointed everyone who believed in him? The weight of his family's hopes pressed down on his chest, making it hard to breathe. Then he felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned to see an older man, another contestant, with kind eyes. "First time?" the man asked. Miguel nodded. "Listen to me," the man said gently. "When you get out there, don't sing for the judges. Don't sing for the audience. Sing for whoever you love most in this world. Sing like you're in your own home, and everything else will fall away." Before Miguel could thank him, his name was called. The production assistant was waving him forward. "You're on, Miguel. Good luck." The walk to the stage felt like it took forever and no time at all. He could hear the audience murmuring beyond the curtain. Then the lights hit him, bright and hot, and suddenly he was standing in the center of a massive stage. The audience stretched out before him like an ocean of faces. The judges sat behind their desk, 4 silhouettes against the stage lights. The head judge spoke into his microphone. Miguel recognized him immediately. Simon Cowell. The man famous for being harsh, for making grown adults cry, for expecting nothing less than perfection. "Hello there," Simon said. His voice was exactly like it sounded on television. "What's your name?" "Miguel Santos," he said. His voice sounded small in the huge space. "And where are you from, Miguel?" "Philippines, sir." "That's a long way to come. What are you going to do for us today?" "I'm going to sing an Elvis Presley song, sir." Simon leaned back in his chair. Miguel could see him exchange a glance with the other judges. He had seen enough of these shows to know what that look meant. Doubt. Here was a small Filipino boy about to sing Elvis. It seemed unlikely. Possibly foolish. "All right," Simon said. "Whenever you're ready." The music began. The opening notes of "In the Ghetto" filled the theater. Miguel closed his eyes and thought about the man's advice. Sing for whoever you love most. He thought of his mother. Her tired smile when she came home from work. The way she always saved the best part of their small meals for him. How she sang to him when he was little, even though she said she couldn't carry a tune. Miguel opened his mouth, and he sang. The first words came out soft, almost fragile. But they were pure. The audience went completely silent. Miguel kept his eyes closed, lost in the story of the song. His voice grew stronger, wrapping around the melody like it was made to be there. He sang about struggle, about poverty, about cycles that seemed impossible to break. He sang with an understanding that came not from study, but from living. In the audience, Lola Rosa's hands covered her mouth. Tears streamed down her face. On stage, Miguel poured everything into the song. Every morning he woke up to help his family before school. Every night he sang himself to sleep to forget the hunger in his belly. Every dream he'd ever had of something more, something better. It all flowed through his voice, raw and real and absolutely genuine. When he reached the final chorus, something extraordinary happened. Simon Cowell, the man known for his stone-cold expressions, the judge who had seen thousands of performers and remained unmoved, leaned forward in his chair. His hand came up to his face. He was wiping his eyes. Miguel sang the last note, holding it pure and true, then let it fade into silence. For a moment, nothing happened. The theater was completely still. Then the audience exploded. They were on their feet, clapping, cheering, crying. The other judges stood up, applauding wildly. Even Simon rose from his seat, something Miguel had rarely seen him do. Miguel opened his eyes, disoriented by the noise and the light and the overwhelming reaction. Simon pressed his buzzer. The golden buzzer. Confetti began to fall from the ceiling like rain. Like a miracle. "Miguel," Simon said, his voice thick with emotion, "in 30 years of doing this, I have never." He paused, collecting himself. "You didn't just sing that song. You lived it. You made us feel every single word. That was extraordinary." Miguel couldn't speak. He couldn't move. Golden confetti landed on his shoulders, in his hair. Lola Rosa was rushing toward the stage, her arms open wide. When she reached him, she held him tight, and they cried together, their tears mixing with the falling confetti. Later, when the cameras stopped rolling and the theater began to empty, Miguel stood on the now quiet stage, looking out at the empty seats. Everything had changed in the span of one song. There would be opportunities now. Doors would open. His family's struggle would ease. But more than any of that, something else had changed. Miguel had learned that his voice, this gift he was born with in the smallest of places, was powerful enough to move hearts across oceans. His story, the story of millions like him, could be heard. Could matter. Could make even the hardest heart soften. He picked up a piece of golden confetti from the stage floor and folded it carefully into his pocket. Tomorrow, he would call home. He would tell his mother and father that the tin box buried under the mango tree had held more than just money. It had held hope. And sometimes, that's the most valuable currency of all. As Miguel walked off the stage with Lola Rosa's arm around his shoulders, he hummed softly. The tune of "In the Ghetto" still lingered in the air. But it sounded different now. Less like a lament, and more like a promise. A promise that voices from small places could echo in the biggest rooms. That dreams planted in poverty could bloom into something beautiful. That a boy from the Philippines could make the whole world stop and listen. And sometimes, if you're lucky and brave and you sing from the truest part of your heart, you can even make Simon Cowell cry.